And it's all about this man here, Simon Yates. Let me bring him into the picture. Simon Yates pulled off the coup of the century. So much talk, so much excitement, leading into a lot of other talk for later the year. We got the Dauphiné coming up. So this was a battle royale. The Dauphiné is going to be an even bigger battle. Basically, Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard, and Remco Evenepoel. So that's just saying that the drama of the Giro d'Italia will continue to the Dauphiné and then to the Tour de France. The Tour de France has a lot to do to outshine what happened these last 3 weeks. Started off, it was Primož Roglic's race to lose. Something happened. He had a fall. He hurt himself again. I don't think many people knew about what actually happened, how bad he was hurt, like when he fell or whatever, when he crashed. But he was able to, on stage 2, people forget that he wore the pink jersey. He wore the pink jersey for one day. So Mads Pedersen won the opening stage, won the pink, then he wore the pink in the time trial, where Primož Roglic didn't win. Josh Tarling won the time trial, but Primož got enough time back to take the lead because Josh was too far, because he got dropped on those 2 climbs, on the climb that they had to do twice the day before. So he lost quite a bit of time. So had he been there at the finish, he would have taken the leader's jersey. That was on stage 1. If he had finished with the group, he would have taken the leader's jersey after winning the time trial. But because he finished so far back, Primož Roglic, even though he abandoned the race, wore the pink jersey. Don't get it twisted. Don't forget that he went in as the man favored. Everyone was basically there to beat Primož Roglic. Everyone else was racing for second. Looking at the Primož of what we know of Primož Roglic, who was going to beat Primož Roglic? Well, we was going to see. Then we had a whole lot of flip-flopping. Like when Ayuso wins the stage, it looks like, okay, yes, he is here, but then he has a crash. He busts his knee, and then we weren't they just didn't let us know how bad it was. It was just kept leaning on Juan Ayuso, like he's going to be able to do it and take care of business. But no, he was hurt too bad. Apparently the stitching and the stitches on his knees was coming open, obviously, because he's got to continue to paddle. So the stitching is going to get busted open. But then comes Isaac Del Toro and Walt Van Aert on the Strada Bianca stage. I believe that was stage 9. And Walt wins the stage, but Isaac Del Toro goes into pink. He stays in pink all the way until stage 20. Now, before stage 20, stage 11, Carapaz made this fantastic attack on the last climb and to go on to win the stage. And we were like, holy cow. But little did we know that was 98 of Carapaz's matches. That if Carapaz had 100 matches, that was match number 98. Now, how can I say that? They showed his Whoop scores. Now, if you go back and look at his Whoop scores, after the 11th, he stayed above 20.5. He did not come down. No, it's not going to show the whole. It's not going to put the whole picture. I have the Whoop, but it's because it's in this format. You're not going to be able to see the whole. Let's see what it looks like when I put the Whoop score up. I know you're not going to be able to see. You're only going to be able to see part of it. Let's see. So yeah, see what I was saying? But basically that says 20.6, 92%. Now that is flipping high. And okay, you can see the day strain. These are like the last, so it's 26.6, 26.5. And then I can't see what's under my thing. I think, yeah. So that was the day where it was a sprinter day, so they didn't race that hard that day. So it dropped down, and then the next day it went right back up. So like he Carapaz was basically riding at his max. So after the stage 11, there was not a lot that Carapaz could give, not a lot at all. And I think that Isaac Del Toro realized that. I think Simon Yates realized that as well. That he basically, that those attacks were like sustained attacks that he could hold. So like when Simon went on that stage 20, when he made his he made attack, but then once he got away, he settled into a rhythm and he was able to ride without any stress, without anybody on his wheel, and just ride a steady, hard rhythm all the way to the top of the Finestra. That was a major difference. So then, like back to Carapaz. Personally, what Carapaz and EF did at the bottom of the Finestra was so dumb. That climb would have just filtered everybody anyway. It would have ended, the top would have ended with the same riders anyway. But he destroyed, Carapaz didn't just destroy everybody else except for Yates. Well, Yates didn't follow. Yates was smart. He destroyed everybody except for Del Toro. Del Toro was the only one that followed him. But he destroyed his whole team within a kilometer of the climb, starting the climb within a kilometer. That's flipping crazy. Your whole team, you destroy your whole team to make one attack that you think is going to get. It's 18K to the top. It's 7 kilometers of gravel. It's 9% for a lot of the climb. It is a hard climb. Carapaz, I think he's a talented guy. I think he's amazing. But no, he does not have that to ride a climb like that for 18 kilometers like that. No way, no how. And I don't know how they sat on the team bus and decided that they were going to attack hard like that from from Carapaz and his team. I don't know how they came to the notion that they were going to attack right at the bottom of the climb like that and just blow the whole team out of the water. Now, you couldn't see it, but Visma played like their hand that they played, it was like playing poker, and the hand that they played, it just happened to be on the blackjack table. That was 21. That was 21. Flip it upside down, turn it inside out, no matter how you look at it, that was 21. Just all the way around. Yates attacked, Yates attacked, Yates attacked. He got away. But that's not really what won him the race when he got away. This is what won him the race. Let me show you these two guys here. You may know, these two guys may look familiar. These two guys here. Isaac Del Toro, I love you. Richard Carapaz, I think you're amazing. But on this day, jokers. Two jokers. You hear? Two jokers. And I have reservations for Team UAE. You know, I mean, who was talking to Del Toro? No, Del Toro, you don't gotta attack, but just ride. All Del Toro had to do was just ride tempo. And he probably would have finished a little closer to the top. And then Yates would have been probably within grabbing distance of catching and then riding to the finish. But they were doing, oh my goodness. At one point, they passed Mads Patterson, the big sprinter Mads Patterson. They passed Patterson, and then they were doing this like, you pull, no, you pull, no, you pull. And then they almost came to a standstill. They were riding slower than Mads Peterson. So they passed Mads Peterson, who was literally crawling up the climb as it was. They passed him, and they were fussing about and doing so much stupidness that Mads Peterson came back. And Mads Peterson must have been like, what's going on here? How am I passing these two riders here? How Mads Peterson must be saying, how am I passing these two? on this tough climb. He must have been like, holy cow, holy flipping cow. And I was like, I was sitting here just watching. I was standing up, sitting down, losing the plot, getting just like, oh my goodness, like just Del Toro just ride. Dude, you ain't gotta try to, just ride a tempo that's steady so that at least you give yourself a chance of getting back at the top. And if you ride, like, you don't gotta go all out, just ride at a tempo, so even if Carapaz attacks over you, you're riding at a tempo that's not, straining yourself, you can respond to. And then, Carapaz would have did enough and said, okay, he's not going anywhere. And then he would have just continued to ride to the top with you. But he didn't. You guys, oh my goodness. And then the other question was, everyone was like, did you see how excited Del Toro was still? Like, you would have thought that he still had the, held on to the pink jersey, taking pictures with Pelazzotti, the Red Bull rider, his good friend of Isaac Del Toro. And, but Richard Carapaz was pissed. Richard Carapaz he was just blatantly pissed. He said what he said. He said, I said what I said. And basically, he was saying that the smartest man won the race. And so if Yates was the smartest, what does that make Richard Carapaz and Isaac Del Toro? If Yates was the smartest, if this guy here, where's my mate? If this guy here was the smartest guy in the day, what does that make the other two? What does it make the other two? I mean, it was mind blowing to see the way that they rode uh, against each other, or how they didn't ride. For if you want to phrase it right, how they didn't ride against each other. How many times did Derek G catch them, pass them, catch them, pass them? I mean, that was insane. That was insane. And Adam Yates profited from that. And the thing about it is, I did want Del Toro to win. I wanted the young man to win. But at the same time, I can't be mad at Adam Yates. I cannot be mad at Adam Yates, because if anybody deserved to win, if anybody deserved to win, it was definitely Simon Yates. Sorry. It was definitely Simon Yates. If anybody deserved to win, it was definitely Simon. And he's a much older rider. And here's the crazy thing. I think Del Toro is going to come back and just totally annihilate everybody. He's gonna do to basically everybody what Tadej Pogacar done to everyone last year. So he's just super strong, and it's just a matter of being tactical and not just riding off of because you are strong, thinking you could win the race just because you are the strongest. I've lost a couple races like that because I thought I was the strongest, and I ended up being the dumbest. You know, so hey, it's like your legs are massive, but if you can't put it together up here, if you cannot put it together up here, no matter how strong you are, forget about it. Just forget about it. And so many people think that because they've got this engine and these legs that they've developed, and all of the latest equipment and tech on their bike, that that's going to ensure them the victory or success. And if you go back and look back in history, even the strongest riders that were annihilating everyone still use this in the raid. My all-time most favorite rider in the rain was a tactician, and I loved how he rode, and he rode smart. I remember one race where In the Rain was racing, and he wasn't the best climber in the race, and one of the better climbers was near him, and instead of trying to keep up with that particular climber on this climb, because he wasn't too far behind him on GC, Indurain let him go, rode his own tempo. He didn't reel him back in. So I think he must have got like maybe a minute to a minute and a half or something like that. But because of the way Indurain rides and because he's very smart and economical, he was able to bring that back, but and then still finish like 30 seconds down, kept his leader's jersey, and then that was all she wrote. It's like sometimes you have to know when to not follow, and that's what Simon Yates did. Hats off to Simon Yates because that's what the boy did on the in Finestria on the way to the Sestria. That's what he did. He watched Carapaz and Del Toro go, putting in explosive attacks. He waited till it got over the steeper part and sort of like the gradient eased up a little bit. He saw that the guys in the group that he was in wasn't chasing. And then he said, okay, it's my time. It's time to party. Let's go. And then he actually bridged across to Carapaz and Del Toro pretty quickly and easy as well. He did it. He did it with the utmost of ease, and it's crazy how he was able to get across to those guys just like that. He got across. He sat in for a minute, put in his attack. Carapaz attacked. Put in another attack. Carapaz attacked. And the whole time, Del Toro just sat on the wheels. He was sitting in the wheels. And I got this weird feeling from Del Toro. Like, he almost didn't care. Like, whatever, I got the best young riders jersey. And that's the other thing I was thinking, that UAE was not stressing him to win. And maybe that may be a good thing. They where they didn't want him to be stressed out by having to try to win. But like, look, you got the best young riders jersey. Let's focus on that. And if you get the best young riders jersey and you get the overall jersey, then hey, we'll take the both of them. But I think it was a little bit of like maybe some preservation, like UAE was thinking about, like preservation. We want to keep uh, Del Toro around, and if you stress a young rider too much too early, you would definitely kill him off for the future. Because we've seen quite a few riders that have come out blazing. They were just doing they had so much expectations on them that when they did hit the big when they did hit the upper ranks, they just fizzled out. They just couldn't deal with it. Weren't able to. They just weren't able to deal with it. And so, like, part of me is thinking like UAE. It's like we have a gem. Del Toro is a gem, and the last thing we want to do is to ruin him early. So I think a little bit of it was managing him as well too, like managing and maybe not thinking about right now, but thinking about tomorrow, which is what a lot of people don't do, because most people, everything they do is for instant gratification. So it's like there's so many different ways you could look at this and why things were done. Del Toro's going to win. We don't know how many Grand Tours he's going to win. We know he's going to win a few Grand Tours. Is no stopping him. And that's the other crazy thing. He made this look easy. Like some of the, especially the stage where he dropped, like after they did the descent, Romo Bade, Carapaz was on his wheel on the descent, and he dropped the both of them. He dropped the both of them, and he made it. And every time you see this boy, he's coming through the finish line. It's like, oh yeah, we just finished racing. Yeah. Like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. And he's just so relaxed, so nonchalant. Even the day after he got dropped on the climb, the day after the rest day, he did not if you go back and look at riders who have blown up, even Tade, when Tade blew up and he bunked and he said he has no more, he can't go anymore. When Tade got to the line, he was like all something of his bike. His face was like, long, and you could just see he's like sucked out his face, and he just looked, just done, baked. But Del Toro went through the exact same thing, and the boy looked like okay, all right, like, like, like just that energy, that, I don't know if it's just youthfulness, but I'm saying if that boy is doing that like this now, if that's what he looks like after he suffers, I feel sorry for the guys in the future, and I feel like they're going to pass the mantle and they're going to do it right. I think that Isaac Del Toro is probably going to become the number one lieutenant for Tadej Pogacar, because Pogacar's probably got another 2, 3 years, maybe 4 of reign, and then Del Toro will be about 24, 25, and it'll be perfect, and he could just come in and just like keep the UAE, the kingdom, the reign of the UAE and Team Emirates, and just keep the reign and continue it on, because there's so many youngsters coming through that they'll be able to continue stacking the team, and I think that's not going to be a problem. But to know that, I mean, I like Juan Ayuso. I think Juan Ayuso at some point is going to go right for someone else, because Juan Ayuso doesn't have what Isaac Del Toro. He has a really likable demeanor, really chill, really salable. I mean, it's like Ayuso, good kid, but he doesn't have that calm, like sponsors. Like, if I'm a sponsor, I'm sponsoring Del Toro before I sponsor Ayuso. I, that's it. I'm gonna put my money, I'm gonna put my product on Del Toro's back, because he's just such, a lovable character. I mean, where would you put your money? But that's what I'm saying. That's where, if I was a big sponsor, I'm putting it on Del Toro's back rather than Ayuso. So, and I'm pretty sure Ayuso is probably going to go ride for somebody else, unless he stays in the team and he settles for doing like all the others, getting the wins in the other stage races and stuff. But I think if he wants to like a major tour, like the Tour de France, I think he won't get that before. As long as he's on the same team with Del Toro, he won't get that opportunity. And so, like, he may get an opportunity to lead the Volta, or at some point lead the Giro. But I think that Del Toro is going to be UAE. He's definitely UAE's main figure going forward. So I mean, Rafa Micah and Adam Yates, those guys, they work hard, and then they got a Tour de France to work hard and try to defend for Tadej Pogacar, and that's going to be a thing. So, but that's back to these two. So these two basically, they did not. They were in the back, in the green room, if you want to call it, behind the stage, behind the president. They did not look at each other. They did not talk to each other. They obviously still really annoyed from what had happened on stage 20. Really annoyed. But then I did see Isaac Del Toro offer an olive branch after they done the champagne. They accepted the prizes, took the pictures. Then Del Toro shook hands with Simon Yates, and then he reached across and he put his hand out, and Carapaz shook his hand. So I don't think they're going to be mad at, I think it's, obviously in the moment stuff, they're going to be annoyed, but I think it's going to make for an on the bike epic battles between the two of them, which is good to see. I mean, and I really honestly think that they will squash this. They will squash this, even though fans and people are going to be talking stuff. I think they will squash it. They will squash it. They will take maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or two, but then they'll come back and you'll see them talking to one another. You'll see them conversating. You'll see them getting in attacks and doing whatnot. But it's going to change. I mean, they're gonna, as they get, back to, as they get back to that point where they start talking again, then they will talk about that moment. They will talk about what happened and who did what and how they did and how we can work on it and improve, So going forward. So, but the other sad thing for Carapaz is he's a lot older and he doesn't have the years left. Like so he's pretty much at the end of his reign where it's going to get harder. I mean, really hard for him to win like a major stage race. Whereas uh, you have Del Toro's got many years to come, many years to come to win big races, big grand tours, and he will, and he will. So and we got to, and then the last stage was made even more fantastic because this guy here, Olive Coy, has put his name up. He was able to, cap it off for Visma by being let out by Wolfenard, and they win the Giro with Simon Yates, and then win the last stage. That was massive. That was massive. So Chapeau, hats off to Visma but not my favorite team. Is not the team that I root for. But hey, I'm the person that hey, it is what it is. If someone does a fantastic job, then you give them the kudos and say they did a fantastic job. And the way that Visma finished it off, I mean, they went into those last two twisty corners, perfect. And then the time they hit the straightaway, all Coy had to do, and then even the other sprinters said that Coy was basically the fastest one there. All the sprinters wanted to win in Rome, but hey, Visma got it right, and they must have taken a page out of Alpecin de Critic with Matthew Van Der Poel and Jesper Philips in the Le Tour de France. I mean, when you get it right, you get it right. And they got it spot on, bang on. I mean, that finish was perfect. I mean, it was super perfect. So big up to Visma Bike, the man Walt went out. Walt went out was definitely probably. I mean, what he did for Adam Yates after Adam Yates got to the top of that climb. So Adam Yates got to the top of the climb, finessed there, and Walt Van Aert was on the other side of the climb waiting for Adam Yates. So while Carapaz and Isaac Del Toro was bickering their way up the climb, there was Walt Van Aert, and Walt Van Aert just towed, and he just was so much pressure on that the gap went from 2 minutes to 5 minutes and something, almost 3 minutes. That's crazy. And mainly because after they got down, coming down the climb, Del Toro's on the front, he's hitting it, and Carapaz said in the interview, when we had a gap of 20 seconds, you refused to work. So now I'm not going to work. So basically threw the race away. So he threw away his second place and ended up in third from having a chance to win to losing a place down to third place. But did you see the trophies? So this is the is it called the Never Ending Trophy? I think it's called the Never Ending Trophy. But the trophies that the second and third place got, those things look pretty dope. I mean, some of the trophies for some of these races they are pretty nice. They are really nice. So one of my favorites, one I used to got was the tour of Edrico. Is it the Edrico? Something Edrico. I know it's Edrico, but that that he holds up. That's pretty dope. That's one of the definitely one of my favorite prizes or trophies that there is. That was before Paris Nice. So that's a pretty dope thing. But the trophies that they did get, like everyone got, I don't have pictures of those, but they were really nice. They were really nice. Um, Man, it's so much like you had the tour of Norway that was this weekend as well. You had the Boucle, Boucle de la Mayenne, something like that. Boucle du Malais. Anyway, the Boucle. Right? I know that's how you say the first part of it, but they had that race, and it was 3 stages, and I believe Benny finished second on two of the 3 stages. And the only reason that was because every time, like he won the bunch sprints, but then there was always someone off the front. So he didn't even really get to like do a head-to-head finish with anybody because someone always escaped off the front. So he was always sprinting for second. So it's showing that he can win in the bunch, which is good, but it's still not a win. So our man Biniam Gourmet is still searching out that first win. Hopefully it'll come soon. Hopefully it will come soon. I was trying to find a Benny picture, but I passed the Benny picture. But I need to find this trophy. Gonna find the trophy, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. That's what I'm about to do. There we go. Where are we to? So many races, so much happened this season. And if you also, if you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. So basically on Instagram, what I do is I post pretty much almost right after the race my little my little recap of every race. So yeah, if you log onto my Instagram and you can know because there are a lot of races that you won't see or hear about. So I basically try to bring as many and as much races as I possibly can. So of course, it's not going to be here. The one I used to one I use one I used to one I also picture because I want to show you one and his I think that's an amazing trophy. I haven't had any dinner yet. It's almost bedtime. So we're gonna be doing that pretty soon. Supposed to be studying a little bit tonight, but no studying tonight. Come on, where's the one I use so? Come on, one I use so. It's gotta be here. Where are we? Barry Nice. I must have. You know what? I probably didn't save it. Oh, here it is. There we go. I know I saved it to here. Look at that trophy. Look at that trophy. Um, is there a better picture? No, I think that's the best picture. The Milano trophy is nice, but it's sort of small. So it's crazy. On the same weekend that Torino had the Ridico, this right here, the same weekend that Wanayuso wins this Melissa bike wins Paris Nice. So it's just like these two teams are going to be going head to head. So I feel like they got one up by um by beating UAE on this, and I want to make a little. I probably am. Maybe by the weekend, I'm gonna make a meme, and it's gonna be Tadej Pogacar, and I'm gonna put Tadej Pogacar in Obi-Wan Kenobi's outfit, and then put Isaac Del Toro in the Luke Skywalker outfit, and basically have them have Tadej showing my young Padawan. Like this is let me paddle. Let me see. Let me show you how to paddle. Show you how to paddle. Show you how to paddle. Must I? so so yeah. So basically, that's um that's one idea, and then I also had an animated thing that I wanted to do as well. I want to use ChatGPT and do a thing with Ayuso and with Ayuso Carapaz and Yates. So yeah, I probably will, but just keep it tuned, keep it locked. So I was trying to find there's another picture that I was looking for. Um, where are we? Where are we? So we got the tour of Slovenia this week, the ladies tour of Norway. So we're gonna bring you all of that stuff as well. So like they had a day off today, got a chance to chill, but we right back on it tomorrow, and we're bringing you all of the stuff. And then I gotta catch up with the Tour of Japan. We started. It's gonna just bring you all the winners from the Tour of Japan, all the winners from Boucle. So like I said, if you go to my Instagram, you can see all of the races. I mean, I have pretty much every single race, every single major race from the season so far, like just a recap of it on my Instagram. So if you go on my Instagram, you can see all of them and everybody. This is the and then the video that you need to go check out as well is the video like with Benny and Gourmet talking about his prep. And my question is, can he hold on to the green jersey? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really hard to hold on that green jersey because he's gonna have so much competition. If Mats Peterson rides the Tour de France, Mats Peterson is a very similar rider, and the fact that he has the power and he can get over the mountains and stuff. A lot of he can climb just as good as Benny. So they'll be duking it out for like a lot of the same sprints. So if Mads Peterson, he will be a big competition for Benny. Also, Tim Miller, he's the man. He's just fast. Jonathan Milan, he's also just fast. And then you got the Jasper Phillips lead out with hopefully Matthew Van Der Poel, because he fractured his wrist, and hopefully Matthew Van Der Poel is going to be okay. Um, he, long as he's 100%. So him going off the ride mountain biking, now you look at it, was a bit crazy. Like, really, dude, you're gonna go ride mountain bike? And yeah, I think it's a bit of over exuberance, a little bit of over exuberance, and that's what happens. So now he's home. Matthew Van Der Poel was home recovering from the crash that he had, and hopefully he will be okay. And the Tour de France will be, you know, like just as exciting as the Giro. I think the Tour de France is going to be exciting anyway, because it's the same stuff they're doing with all of the hype that they did for Jonas last year. Even though I think Jonas is going to be a bit better, he doesn't have the races in the race, that stress from the race in his legs. And that's probably one of the biggest things that you really do need, having that stress. Like what Tade went through for Paris-Roubaix, you can't train that into your legs. There's no way, no how. No way, no how. And I think that's going to be a distinct advantage for Tadej Pogacar, because he's got to really take his legs to a new place and now letting his body absorb all of that, let it recover. And then now he's obviously getting himself ready for the Dauphiné, winding himself up. So when he, I don't think people understand what, like, that level of stress. And then after taking, like, if your body's is can go at 9.9, and then you do a few races that take you to 1.3, I mean 10 point, I'll say 11, 12, or minus 13, or 13, I would say, or 12.5 instead of saying minus 13, 12.5. That increment, even if you go from 9.9 to 10.9, that's just a major difference, because most of the people around you that you're racing with are riding at 9.9, 9.8, or whatever. Then you add that extra, man. I just think Tadej Pogacar, with how he's prepared with the spring and just taking his body to a new place, that he's we shall see. We shall see. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, it's getting late. I need to get ready for bed. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then I should be back here tomorrow with the Tour of Slovenia, and then the ladies tour of Norway, to bring you the results from those stages. Anyway, my voice is starting to get dry and raspy because I've been talking so much. But I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. So once again, hats off to this man. He had a fantastic, 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 fantastic. That last, my goodness, that stage 20. My goodness, I don't know. I aged like 200 years watching that stage. I easily aged 200 years. That was like, oh my goodness, wow, what am I watching here? Like I said, in this Louis Say with your legs media. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button.